Alright, that's done.
Do. Wow, another week, another chance to predict the hell out of
Yeah.
everything. Probably.
So, lots of things going on today, obviously, for all of us. And just like Ashley just alluded to just a second ago, we're going to predict another set of awards body this time around. And I'm pretty sure Ashley solidified last week. Of course, I didn't write anything down because that's me. So we are going to be having pretty much Popcast moving forward. For the most part, we're not going to skip many weeks, if any. There's a few here and there, but I mean, we'll get to that when we get there. But yeah, that's cold open. Restaurant quality. My name is Owen. Joining me as
No
always, we
pressure.
have
It's the British
Ashley
one. Oh no.
and AJ.
I to try to have some sort of advantage, I tried to catch up on some of these. I
Oh.
intended to catch up on some of these. The ones that are like prominent,
Oh,
but like kind
rocks
of
then.
only here,
Okay.
like how Rocks, The Dig, and Calm with Horses are all on Netflix, and Another Round is on Hulu.
I knew you were excited
But
about that on the big screen.
but this has just been one of those goddamn weeks. So I got to about one and a quarter of those. I saw Rocks, and I saw the first half an hour of The Dig, and like it's. The Dig is fine so far. I didn't realize that Fines was the lead in it, which would have helped a lot going in, and he was like immediately magnetic. But holy fuck, the pacing on that thing is is so like it's weird because a lot happens in like the first 20. Like Fines is almost dead in the first 20 minutes because the dirt collapses on him, and it's terrifying. But by the time I looked and I saw only a half an hour gone by, I thought it was halfway over. So that's gonna be fun to get back to. But yeah, and it took me a minute to locate Calm with Horses because apparently on our Netflix it's under a different name. It's under The Shadow of Violence. I don't know straight to DVD Bruce Willis bullshit that title is, but when you type in Calm with Horses, it takes you to that, but it was confusing.
Well, you were probably confused because you probably thought it was a stable in Ring of Honor with Brody King and Tony Deppen and Chris Dickinson. But that's a story for time.
That's what happens when you take the vowels out of two words. Um.
Oh, and
I
everybody, yeah,
Oh no.
the father finally fucking came out. it's it's a miracle, and I saw it at like fucking 8 o'clock this morning, so I feel semi
In
complete
related
at least as far
news,
as picture
most of the
goes.
actual ones that are getting momentum in the Oscars are actually getting shown in the UK as well. Bad news is most of them are on Sky Cinema or Now TV, so I can't watch them legally. Yay! Although that being said, I'm looking forward to this Thursday because they're releasing the Mauritanian. Because I want to know what the shit is all the buzz about this. Luckily, the week after that is Sound of Metal, so it's like, you know, at least I've got two I can legally watch. So, you know.
so speaking of that, you guys have obviously heard me the entire season say this is the season
Uh
I'm just gonna watch Promising Young Woman and be done with it. Sometimes I get a wild hair and it's kind of like, you know what? I'm just gonna figure out a way to do this. And I can say, as of this very moment, at 6:13 p.m. here on the East Coast, I have now seen 6 of the 8 Best Picture
Who are
nominees
you and what have you done
in a
with Owen?
theater, and that is the only.
But we still don't know how you feel about Mank, which of course is the most important thing.
Next month, it's supposed to be part of the Best Picture marathon at a Cinemark that's close by, not the one that's the easier one for me to get to, when it's further away. But I should have Mank and The Father sewed up sometime within the next month. And on top of that, I can confirm 100% next week, next Friday, I'll be doing the same thing I did last year, AJ. I will be
Oh
watching the
shit.
shorts theatrically.
We
A lot of them are starting to show up. Apparently, Two Distant Strangers is coming on Netflix on April 9th. And that's I imagine that's the front runner for live action short if I had to guess.
Probably, yeah.
That's the main concern. And the Letter Room and Feeling Through are out there somewhere. And some of the animated ones are somebody just put what's the genius one in animated? That they just put that on YouTube.
So again, I'm not watching these movies on my computer. I
But
will
the big
watch them in a
question
theater. I will
is,
not watch them at all.
are you gonna discover what is this year's Donkey with Headphones? Yes? Or how Donkey with Headphones? He will live he will be there forever. I'm not deleting
Well, here's
that
the thing,
scene
like
off my
AJ.
OBS ever because
Oh yeah.
of the joy that brought us last year, and then everything went to shit for the 12 months after it.
Well, like AJ said before last week, and I think he said it a couple times actually. There's always one that I don't get a chance to see. But like, if you combine AJ and myself together, we usually have watched everything when it comes to the shorts. Last year, I watched the short in the theater, but not all 3 bodies of the shorts because Cinemark did not offer. AMC in that case did not offer all 3 of them. I only had 2 of them. 2 of the marathons.
Well, let us not also forget that we basically followed Donkey with Headphones off of a cliff
Yeah,
because we all knew that we had to
I
predict
don't
it to
care.
win, when of
That was the
course it
best
didn't.
bit.
And the 3 other people in the theater I saw NEFTA Football Club were very confused when I popped loud when I saw.
Well, how is
Tony.
that? Even if you don't know the Donkey with Headphones is coming, how do you not react to that anyway? Like, wouldn't you react
I mean,
bigger not knowing it was coming?
The
I mean,
4
the
people
fact
in the theater
the
totally
fact
react
when
to
I saw it the
anything.
first time, I was like, "This is gold. This needs to be the thing for this year."
Well, and the thing is, who do I want to deal with more? The obnoxious old couple that wouldn't shut up during Sound of Metal, or I talk about the family that went into Minari that wouldn't. The phone kept going off every 5 seconds with the loud kid. I don't like
Man,
either options.
Sound of Metal is a terrible movie to have somebody talking through. That's like one of the worst ones it could have been.
No. The great thing is they talk throughout the entire rolling stock. They talk through the trailers. They shut up until the movie was over, and then they sat in the theater and kibitz for like 30 minutes. You remember those guests? Oh, back in the day, right after the various PureFlix movies, where they just sit and just like for like 30 minutes and reflect on what they just saw. I had to get out of there because I don't want to be around anybody. But yeah, I caught up. I am now 6 out of 8. So the Father and Mank are hanging over my head like a sword of Damocles, and basically I am ready to take those on in the theater. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, I need to see it in a theater somehow, some way. It sucks. I missed it theatrically. Borat was here. I could have watched it the same day. The schedule didn't work out because what they did was, AJ, you know how this works. You remember back in the day where we had the Oscar nominee that only had one showing and it shared with the other Oscar nominee that only had one showing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
last year that was Jojo Rabbit and Parasite.
Well, So Trial of the Chicago 7 and Minari both only have 12:30 and 1:45 showings respectively. So today was the only day I could watch Minari, or I would have waited till Tuesday to watch it. Now I'm waiting for Mank and the father, and then I'll be caught up. And then I want to try to watch some of the animated films if I can. But again, my rules are I'm trying not to watch it outside of a theater if I can help it. I almost watched the father and Mank just on my computer, but it breaks the rules. So I'm trying this year the best way I can to watch everything theatrically twice, like I did last year. But I don't have a list to fall back on like I did last year either. I have it. I'm just not reactivating it
So
until July.
BAFTAs.
There's no reason to.
Cold open.
Right. Brian says, lovely spring day I'm having. Calm with Horses is Irish. Way to go, Owen, on a catch up. Doc shorts are usually run by Documentary Branch, while the live action and animated are run by Short Films and Theater Animations Branch. That's the reason why I usually get those. And the documentary ones, like, I don't get to see. But it lists all three of them for Cinemark, but I don't know which one it's going to be for mine. Same with AMC. So I know for a fact my AMC is getting the shorts on the set. So much that I'm going to forego going to Epcot until the second half of the day so I can see these shorts theatrically. But I'll have that information on Tuesday when they get their bookings. So,
Not that this helps you, but I'm pretty sure all the documentary shorts are streaming in one place or another now. Which there's usually one that's just kind of like impossible to find, but I think they're all streaming on something.
you kind of have to this
Tell
year.
that to Pedro Almodovar.
You have to stream. It's the only way to survive.
His film's like nowhere to be found. It's like if you didn't go to the festival, screw you.
Yeah, it's like with the unless you can find them playing in theaters like that, live action shorts are always a bitch to find. Like every year. I didn't know The Present is on Netflix. I just learned today. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Which we're going to be talking about very soon.
So if you wanted to know my thoughts on the movies that I watched this week, this show is not going to be where you're going to find them. So let's try to predict the BAFTA, shall we?
Now I need to find the actual BAFTA news. Because I don't really want to go to the actual, like... I want to go to the official press release.
Yeah.
Because... Did you guys see the nomination video that they put up? A few weeks back?
No.
So they announced how it was going to be happening over the weekend of the 10th and 11th of April, and people were all going, what does that mean? Why isn't it one day? Well, we now have the reveal. So, Radio 1's Clara Amfo will be hosting the BAFTA Film Awards opening night on Saturday the 10th of April on BBC Two in the UK. She'll be joined by a panel of guests to be announced. Using behind-the-scenes footage from the nominated films to explore the creative process, audience will get an in-depth look at the expert crafts. The programme gives BAFTA a unique opportunity to showcase all aspects of the filmmaking process, while 8 winners will be revealed that night, along with the Outstanding British Contribution to Cinema recipient, which is obviously the one where we don't have to predict. It's sort of the equivalent of the the Lifetime Achievement or the Honorary Oscars, which are already predetermined, sort of thing. And whoever wins that, or whatever is representing that, is the only thing that's actually going to be in person at the Royal Albert Hall. That's the only in-person award, apparently, for the entirety of the event. Because then, on Sunday, Clara, as the official presenter for EE, the sponsors, will be interviewing other presenters from the Royal Albert Hall and then the winner's reaction, she'll be doing the sort of the interviews, the equivalent of the back room, what you see with certainly with the Oscars and whatever. But then Edith Bowman and Dermot O'Leary will be hosting the main bit of the film awards, maybe. So they'll be doing a live red carpet show before the show. Then all nominees will join the show virtually alongside a virtual audience, with 17 awards to be announced, including the Rising Star Award and the BAFTA Fellowship, which is pretty much the Lifetime Achievement. So, my question is, I don't know how the shit this is going to go down for the American broadcast, because there's no details of that. But the one thing I will say, from the way that they seem to be doing this, they are actually going to give proper time to all 25 awards. So those awards that always get shoved at the end saying also presented tonight will actually get a chance to shine on the Saturday night. It just makes me wonder how the hell I'm going to do this with Owen, because that probably means it's going to be a 3-hour ceremony now, because there'll be an hour of whatever they do on the Saturday and then 2 hours on Sunday that I've got to cut and show him. Plus I don't even know how they're going to do it for BBC America. Thanks, BAFTA.
How's that going to work? How's that even going to work? First off, how's that going to work?
We'll just do it on the Sunday. We'll wrap it up after all have been announced, because then we can also combine that with the DGAs, is it? It's the DGAs, I think, are like April the 6th or something. So it's at
I've got the calendar.
So it's after but it's after SAG, which we're doing live, live recap of, along with
the 4th.
What happened this past week with the PGAs and the WGAs. And then the following week, because it's the same weekend and everything. God, that's yeah. So that's the shtick. That's the cold open to AJ's and Owen's reactions to all this.
So what you're saying is I don't have to do a show the weekend of the collective then?
Yeah, it'll be
after the collective is
at
over.
the same time as WrestleMania. So I'm gonna have to have WrestleMania on the tablet muted, and then we'll do the award stuff. Hey, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn is happening that Sunday. That's my main event. Anyway, AJ, your thoughts on the 2-day what the hell?
Well, I mean, it's weird, but like you were saying, my biggest concern is how I'm going to see this thing, which I'm hoping that's what, 2 weeks? I'm hoping 2 weeks is enough time for them to make that clear.
The press release just says that what's happening
I'm sure they're going to
have the UK broadcast. Nothing to do with the international version. So guess.
It's going to be 1 hour long. It's going to be like the USA Hall of Fame.
Is this like the equal balance, because we got like all the movies much earlier, so now it's it's like karma.
Everyone gets kicked in the nuts theoretically. Right Guy says, remember SAG is on Easter this year.
Easter Sunday.
Which I will get paid to work, as it is a holiday.
That's assuming they don't get Assuming the winners don't get leaked, since they're going to be shot like 2 days in advance or something.
There better be some serious NDAs signed.
So should we start predicting stuff? Or
We've been here for 20 minutes and we haven't done jack and or crap yet, so let's do this.
I'm guessing, to make it easier on all of us, we're just
To
kind of
some
doing the
extent.
reverse order
Well,
of
plus,
Wikipedia.
it makes sense to go with
Yep,
the
that's what I'm.
first one being the Rising Star, whether it is last in the list or not, because the Rising Star is the only one that's voted for by the public.
So I think the only time I would change it is usually I do British film right under the big eight, but it's like the next
Well,
one after
because they
Rising
decided to have
Star.
10. It's too lot. It doesn't fit in with the other thing, so we'll just stick it at the end so that the Rising Star just looks chunkier. Might as well.
Well, should we do Rising Star first?
Sure.
All right. I'm probably going to read the
So we
rest
have
of these, but
Kingsley
Ashley, do you want to
Benadir,
take these names?
Muffet Clark, Bucky Bakrai, Sope Desiru, and Comrade Khan.
All right. So, unlike since I got on SAG, I was like, I should probably try to predetermine these this time, just to sort of keep things moving a little more. So I've done that. But the problem was that I was really trying to remember everything you said about this category, Ashley. You went through every name and you said all the reasons why it may or may not be them, and I cannot remember for the life of me anything that you said. So well, I kind of explored their Wikipedia pages to see if anything kind of came back to me. And I couldn't remember if this is who you said was the most likely, because you have proven to be very trustworthy in this category. So I really
it's always annoying with
I
this
really
one
should have been
because
taking in what you were saying.
You don't go for the one that arguably had the best performance of the year. You go with the most popular one.
Yep.
Now to me, the most popular one would be Kingsley Benadir, but that doesn't always translate. So trying to remember what you said and looking at what all they've done recently and what all their accomplishments are up to this point, I said, is it Morford Clark? Is that the pronunciation? Yeah.
So that's who I said. Next. Owen, you go next.
Good, Ashley.
No,
oh God, no!
The other way around because I'm waiting to see what happens.
I suck at this category. Every year I predict the people that I think would win if it wasn't the public voting, and every year I'm wrong. Kingsley Benadir jumped out at me immediately, but this is the public voting, not critics, not any sort of governing bodies. This is just some random Mizark on the street. So, Bucky Bakray comes to mind immediately because of all the love for Rox. And Rox is very possible to win a few things actually during this ceremony. So much so that I think Rox actually might do a lot better than people are thinking that are obviously not living on the across the pond. I'm gonna have to agree with AJ on this one because Saint Maud was something that was really liked from what I've heard, and I remember how creepy the trailer was too, and I feel that that's something that resonates really well. So I'm gonna stick with Morgan Clark as well.
You both fell into my trap. That's the problem. Morphic Clark had the best performance of the year, which means she isn't going to win.
But it's also a popular performance too.
I don't know whether she's popular enough. To me, it was either between Sope Desiru or Kingsley Benadir, because Kingsley's arguably the more high profile internationally, and Sope has got arguably the movement behind them as well because of Gangs of London, which I will, I still haven't seen that yet, but it's from the guy that did the Raid films, so I'm gonna love it, hopefully. So for that reason, I've gone for Bucky Buckray, because going with the sort of, like you
I would,
said, Rox has got enough momentum. I don't think it's going to win any of the main acting prizes in the later categories, which is sort of spoilers. But I think with enough momentum that it had publicly, the fact that a film like that was out in cinemas and was seen by a fair few people, despite the fact this was at the time, at least in the UK, when cinemas were contemplating what to do. And the fact that within weeks of like the cinemas conceding and having to close, but it went on to Netflix and a lot of people caught it there. I think that's probably the popular one. And now watch it be Comrade Calm because it's everything but the others.
Because I just usually it ends up not being the person my eyes first go to. Now, of course, especially this
Yeah,
year, the first person that caught my attention was Kingsley
because of the
Ben-Adir. Would
international
be the most
reach.
obvious
Yeah,
in any other circumstance. But then I panicked because my first option here is
because the
it
thing
one.
I
So
recalled to last year was, I can't remember the name of the actor, but it was Blue Story, the film, which was just perfect, right for the people that use phone mobiles and will text to support their person. Yeah, Michael Ward, that's it. From
Michael Ward.
can't remember what else I saw him in, but I recognised him from something else from a few years before, whether it was television or film. Um, but I think with that, plus we need to keep the streak going because I think that'd be the third or fourth straight year that a non-white person has won it in an academy that's been trying to deal with the issue of diversity. You know, try obviously with the announcements of whatever, clearly throwing that up and mixing it up. So I want it to be. The problem is I want it to be Muffet Clark, but I don't know whether the public are that sensible.
All right. And
all
now we
right,
get to
they have the shorts
I'd
weirdly
say so
high. Should we go ahead and
because the
just do the
shorts are nearly
shorts or
always on
what?
previous versions, also in this award ceremony. So
All right. You want us to start with live action? Because it's got an obvious choice here, but because you can't always tell. But for live action short, we have Eyelash, Lizard, Lucky Break, Miss Curvy, and The Present. Obviously, only one of these is one that we have seen before as far as nominations go, at least as far as major nominations go. So, I mean, I feel like the safe bet is The Present, is it not?
exactly. If you well no, if you think back, was it 4 or 5 years ago to Paddy Considine's debut as a director in this category? No, in this category in the short film,
Tyrannosaur?
which then
Yeah.
also was nominated for an Oscar the same year. You bet BAFTA's gonna be like, this is the best. Please vote for us, Academy in America. Hi. To be honest, though, I do actually want it to be Lucky Break because then people will get confused with that film that came out in the 90s that was trying to be. Oh, what was it? I can't remember whether it was like The Longest Yard or whatever. It was that sort of thing. It was some dodgy British comedy.
all right. Um.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is,
So you're saying The Present?
Well, I mean, I wanted to go different, but it kind of being the only to not be the take a shot to be the only movie on Wikipedia that actually has a Wikipedia page in this category. The President's the only thing that has any sort of presence, so we're gonna go with it.
Oh my
And the
god, I'm
President
so
wins.
pleased they went down the rabbit hole of Lucky Break. I never realised that the because it's supposed to be prisoners trying to escape via like being doing some sort of musical. So basically, the final scene from Paddington 2. Stephen Fry wrote the lyrics to the music that they used in it, and Christopher Plummer's in the film. It's perfect. Anyway, short animation.
Okay.
All right. For animated short, we have The Fire Next Time, The Owl and the Pussycat, and The Song of a Lost Boy. Obviously, there's not going to really be strategy behind this one.
Nope.
So, when we went through these nominations, I had made reference to the George Segal Barbra Streisand movie, The Owl and the Pussycat, which, if I had to guess, has absolutely nothing to do with this animated short. But to honor the man, I I will just go with The Owl and the Pussycat, despite the fact that there is no relation whatsoever.
To honour Edward Lear, I
What do you
go with
got,
the Owl and
Ashley?
the Pussycat. Same gist, different person.
Yeah, the Owl and the Pussycat.
All right, so are we just going to debut now?
This category is
This
wrong.
is this is problematic
It's the start of
because
so
there's a lot in
many.
here.
Get this B category out of the way. First many.
For outstanding debut by a British writer, director, or producer, we have His House, Limbo, Mafi, Rocks, and Saint Maud. I mean, sometimes you hesitate because things seem too obvious
Mm-hmm.
if they're performing well elsewhere. But here, I feel like BAFTA tends to kind of go like you see that in British film also, where it's like if it's got the most attention here in other categories, it's probably the answer in a category like this. So I'm gonna say
And for that
Rocks.
same reason, I'm saying Saint Maud.
Ashley. Okay. For a reason, that I went to a little bit ago, that I'm just going to completely backtrack on this one. I'm going to go with
To
Saint
some
Maud as well.
extent, I'm probably swayed by the fact that Saint Maud is the one that Limbo does as well, but it covers all three because the first time writer is also the first time director, and there's a first time producer as well. And I think this is where Saint Maud gets its win.
Oh, if Morphin Clark wins, technically
Exactly.
speaking,
That's
that's
what I
not
mean.
really a win for Saint Maud completely. So I can see where you're coming from.
So are we saving British film for later, or are we just going through it?
Because my prediction ties into what I just said, it might make sense to just do it here.
All right. For outstanding British film, we have Calm with Horses, The Dig, The Father, His House, Limbo, The Mauritanian, Mogul Mowgli, Prostitute Woman, Rocks, and Saint Maud. I feel like Three Billboards taught me to not overthink this category.
Yep.
So I don't think I'm going to really overthink this category. I'm just going to say Promising Young Woman.
And this is where I'm saying Rocks.
Ashley. Now, obviously, I'm going Promising Young Woman here.
But I know at some point it's going to bite me in the ass going for these ones that just feel obvious. Because another thing we didn't really discuss was we don't really because there was, I mean, we kind of discussed it when we talked about the nominations, but there was a while there where BAFTA really just kind of went their own way. Yeah, obviously more so when they were after the Oscars, but like more and more lately, they seem to not really be doing their own thing. And then there's the whole thing of, well, they've obviously got a now infamously weird set of nominations this year, but isn't it the like the voting processes are different from how they got the nominations versus how they're doing the win vote? Like, is it just win voting is just
Yeah,
normal?
and the big
I'm
thing that they
assuming.
emphasized this year, the only votes that were counted were from people where they could verify that they'd seen every single film or performance for that category.
As
That that could make things a little trickier, but so yeah, so they could still go wild, but I think I'm mostly playing it safe from the looks of what I have here in
Which
total.
means people had to
So
sit through Mulan.
yeah.
I feel sorry for them. Oh no.
Speaking of, uh,
Okay.
I guess we're doing visual effects next.
looks like it.
This is kind of an interesting category this year because usually there's at least two things battling it out, but I don't even think there's even that. I think it's just kind of a shot in the dark at this point. But we're dealing with Greyhound, The Midnight Sky, Mulan, The One and Only Ivan, and Tenet. I've heard some. Obviously, we've heard complaints about Mulan's for good reason because a lot of it looks like shit. Not all of it, but a lot of it looks like shit. And I kind of hear back and forth things on Greyhound. Some people are really impressed by the effects in Greyhound. A lot of people think it looks like uh, and I don't know. The One and Only Ivan is one of those things that doesn't feel like a winner. It feels like an, oh, it's really cool that got nominated kind of thing. So I pretty much narrowed it down to The Midnight Sky and Tenet. And for some, even though I know it's fucked me over before to not go with the space movie, um, I was just kind of pushed toward Tenet. So that's what I said.
I mean, Tenet is a space movie,
Ashley,
right? It's not in actual space, but it ain't of this world. Oh, yeah. Exploding, imploding building. Special visual effects. Because it's real and digital and neither. What is Tenet? Sorry, I can't hear you. The sound mix is too bad.
I'm gonna guess what is the question is what is Tenet, and then the best way is to throw a Jeopardy question out back at what is the winner.
Oh, wow. One and only Ivan predicted there.
What was that?
I said what is Tenet. The answer is what is the winner.
You mean you really you mean answer the winner the question? What is Tenet? Is that
What
what
is
you mean?
Tenet is what.
You need to brush up on your Jeopardy, dude.
What you doing, trouble?
Kind of hard on time.
Uh,
But to be fair, out at me immediately was the Midnight Sky here, and if it wins, I won't be shocked.
again, I'm trying to double check to see whether the CGI, if the VFX was done by. Wow, there's only 280 VFX shots in that film. That's sort of good.
Brian asks, "Is promising British
Uh,
because of Carrie's
that's
American
the
accent?"
problem with that film. I'm like, is it? Are they just classifying it as British because it's written and directed by a female British woman? Like, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, the production companies are Film Nation Entertainment, which is American, and Lucky Chap Entertainment, which is Margot Robbie. And it's being distributed by Focus Theatres, which is Universal. That isn't British! It was...
What was the explanation for
Three
Three
Billboards was a
Billboards?
Channel 4 slash Film 4 production, so that would be British.
Brian says in recent years, except for Ex Machina and Jungle Book, the winner for visual effects at the Oscars has been going more for the Best Picture movie.
Yeah.
Yes, I said
is a
that
factual
exactly what it says on the screen. Best
reading of
Picture.
the statement. I'm still trying to work. I've just realised I'm still trying to work out why Promising Woman falls into that category. Nothing. I mean, yeah.
As long as it wins something. Continue.
Okay, here's where I have a lot of questions.
Sound.
We're going into sound. We have Greyhound, News of the World, Nomadland, Soul, and Sound of Metal. I genuinely cannot tell if Sound of Metal is simply the inspired nomination or if it's the frontrunner. I have no idea which one it is.
I don't know what the correct answer is.
Well, I went ahead and said it, so I'm going with Sound of Metal, but because I just don't really know. I mean, interestingly, the other one that stuck out was Greyhound. I feel like would be the other obvious one, unless you think
Sound.
Soul is an obvious one, which I don't know. But yeah, I just went ahead with Sound of Metal because that's the one that everybody. I have no idea if it's it's an inspired nomination and it's cool that it's here, or if it's like the one. I think it's also trying to deal with. I mean, it was always that way here anyway, but collectively for the season, having to deal with just having one category for sound is kind of wild because it's like with Whiplash, where like it's so cool that Whiplash got that sound nomination and it actually won the thing, but then that gave way for what was it, American Sniper to get the other one, which is something that would normally get this kind of thing. So without the one category being able to we'll take the inspired nomination and we'll give it the win, while the obvious one can take the other one. This whole combined thing, I'm really interested to see how this goes. So
this will be the first time that happened, isn't it?
What's that?
This will be the first time this season Oscars, that it's been combined.
Wasn't that?
It was combined at the Globes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So this will be the first time that this has been a sound category and not
For
just
Oscars,
mixing and
yeah.
editing separate categories. First time this
hang on,
season
let me
that
look
this.
at I've already sorted my list of what went before, so I can start filling them out. So sound.
Brian said people want LeVar Burton to host Jeopardy.
Confusingly, we still have the Sound Editing Awards and the Sound Mixing Awards, even though I don't want to say that because. Yeah. Okay, I might as well say it because it'll be my prediction next. I'm gonna go along with what the Satellite Awards said.
Ashley.
And that went to Sound of Metal as well. I think if you can get an accurate depiction of how sound loss works and can convey it through sound to like really pass it on to the person rather than just pressing the mute button, like so many would have normally done, I think that deserves the credit in terms of like making it accurate.
So between Sound of Metal putting us right in the point of view of somebody going deaf and the father putting us right in the point of view of somebody having dementia. This year has been really enlightening.
Secretly, that's why I wanted Sound of Metal and Tenet on the same thing. Because Sound of Metal shows you what it's like to become deaf. And Tenet is how it feels like it when you can't hear anything. So it's the same thing. Except you're overloaded with sound, so it's like the opposite. Like, there is too much sound rather than too little.
Another one of the award shows. We're all just going to say the same thing.
So you're going Sound of Metal as well?
Obviously. Just sheerly walking through the city, just all the sounds reverberating in his head is just it's everything around him at the same time. It's kind of like distorted and everything. And I just love what Martyr did with having the captioning and everything. I think she did a fantastic job. And this was another year. This would be like a real picture contender.
I also really the one that really I thought also really stood out was the slide scene.
Oh yeah, gosh, yes, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Especially when you pan back and you got to see what actually was happening. He was actually just drumming along and everything. The kid was just standing there, just like watching intently. It's just so good.
Maybe.
All right. I almost said something for this one and then I backtracked. So let's hope that I don't regret that. Production design.
Okay.
We've got The Dig, The Father, Mank, News of the World, and Rebecca. I feel like it's down to Mank and The Father.
Right.
And I had Mank. Now, of course, you'll know if I find any excuse to get pulled away from Mank, I'll consider it. But it's not that though. Like I really almost went with Mank. Like really, honestly, if I hadn't seen The Father today, I probably would have said Mank. But it's so insane how much this is a cliche that's been said about a ton of things through a ton of movies. But I mean, if you want to talk about production design being a character, it literally is. I'm hoping that makes enough of an impact that they go with it. So I said The Father here.
Considering it's British and like with sound, how as AJ just said, how basically it's like key to understanding everything. I have to go with Father.
Well, I guess I'm just going to stand out on the Mank train by myself then.
The great thing is, I could only guess what happened with The Father, so that's why I said the set changes. I'm guessing you can now confirm, AJ, that I was correct with my prediction.
It's one of the most disorienting things I've seen in a movie in a while. Because it's so fucking subtle how they do it. It's like you, much like him, you have like a delayed reaction to it before you even realize what's happened. And long story short, I suppose it goes without saying, the movie's fucking brilliant. Like there's a reason it did as well nominations wise as it did, and I'm kind of surprised it didn't do just a little bit more.
Now that you're describing it like this, when I go and see it, maybe at this preview digital screening, I really don't hope I don't have to be video for like sort of like, well, they wouldn't be like test screening it to get reactions. That would make no sense because it's coming out. But all I'm gonna have going in my head when you see the one bit and then he looks back and like something's changed, all I'll be thinking is Cookie Monster's, one of these things is not like the other things. One of these things just doesn't belong. It's like
There's a, there is a couple of scenes where that is
Oh
scarily
no!
appropriate.
Oh, my year is ruined.
Sometime next.
All right. So the next thing is, oh, finally, an easy one.
Yeah.
Score. All right. For score, we have Mank, Minari, News of the World, Promising Young Woman, and Soul. As you can see, I
Look us
almost just
out.
accidentally didn't even read the nominees because, yeah. So I don't know about you guys, but I am saying Soul.
I
So
mean, considering how there was a documentary about the Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club that garnered a lot of praise. Didn't get nominated for anything, but the people that like their jazz, liked it. I'm hoping they vote in the award ceremony as well.
Right. Unless one of us starts going crazy, these scores are going to be really similar.
I mean, let's see. I don't know.
All right, here's one where I just don't know what the fuck to do.
same.
Makeup.
No.
I said this is wild because there so many years in a row now we've had just one front runner in this category. But here we have The Dig, Hillbilly Elegy, Mank, Ma Rainey, and Pinocchio. I really wanted to say Pinocchio. Like I'm wondering if Pinocchio is more of a player than that's kind of like what we were talking about with Sound of Metal. It's like is Pinocchio just the inspired nomination or is it here to play? I can't tell. But this is the one time uh I went Mank.
Ashley.
Pinocchio.
Like I don't know what to do here because it's like it is down to the two and everything, and I mean I think this may be the only chance. Well, yeah, it, it's down to the two of you predictions. Honestly, for me, it's like
I'll
part
give
of me one, part of me saying the other.
I'll give you a hint. It's the only thing I said Mank for, which means Mank is going to lose. So
I've got Mank winning other things of the night, but I think Pinocchio is more of
Part
a
of me is
player here. I'm
also
gonna go with
wondering
Pinocchio
whether The
here.
Dig is in here because I haven't been able to catch that yet because it's obviously Netflix exclusive. Because I'm wondering how extensive is the makeup on Rafe post, boat.
I mean, so far I haven't
Oh,
noticed
so
anything. Like I said, I'm
we've,
only like
we've only we've
25
only
minutes
just dug
in,
him out.
so
It's the double dig.
yeah, pretty much.
Hang on, what's next on Wikipedia? Oh, okay.
All right. I'm taking into account something that happened before for this because if I wasn't, I wouldn't know what the hell to do. It appears we're going to editing already,
Mm-hmm.
Already?
where we have The Father, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and Trial of Chicago 7. The fact that Vice won the BAFTA for editing makes me think they like the really, really, really flashy stuff. So I said Trial of Chicago 7.
I have editing listed on here. Hold on. Ashley.
You know what? The Father. The obvious one to
Promising Young
me here
Woman.
is Nomadland, but BAFTA normally doesn't match up with editing and picture like it often does with the Academy. The American Academy, I should say.
To me, it feels like more likely is Sound of Metal, and none of us went with that
They're all
option.
strong. I mean, that's. I mean, is that the same 5? Hang on, double check. Father Nomadland. Yeah. Wow. That's the first time in a while that BAFTA's matched Oscar on editing. Okay. Wasn't paying enough attention to that. Uh-oh.
Is AJ frozen?
Oh God, has it happened? Now, Owen, now you know how we felt when you froze.
AJ, can you hear us? Nope. That's a big no right there.
Hopefully that all. Hopefully, he isn't just like talking to camera when he can't hear us, or something. Oh, hang on, there we go.
That'd be bad. There he is.
I actually watched my connection just fucking
Like
drop.
Why?
So I had to
Yeah.
see. I had to reset it. So yes, am I here now?
Guys, coming here.
All right. Now I gotta refresh
Bry
fucking
also
Wikipedia.
said the fact Sound of Metal is sound in
Right.
the title, just like the house in Parasite. It's part of the thing. Costume.
All right. Costume design.
Okay.
All right. For costume design, we have Ammonite, The Dig, Emma, Mank, and Ma Rainey. Once again, I almost said Mank. I know Ma Rainey has had a decent showing in this category. And this is a case where it could be something random like Ammonite or something. But I went with what's probably the most period, which I feel like is usually a safe bet here. So I just stuck with Emma.
Ashley, do you concur?
The backstory here. Well, the short answer, yes. The medium short answer. Alexandra Byrne is Roger Deakins this category. She's been nominated 5 times and has never won the BAFTA. I think she's won the Oscar, but she's never won the BAFTA. Please make it right. For the love of God, please make it right.
Yeah, it's Emma here.
Because Emma's been having a weird season with how it was shunned entirely from production design, like all season. And then it's like more, not necessarily low key, but more low key than Emma in this category. Stuff like Ma Rainey has been showing. So I don't know, but
I'm looking at the history of the BAFTA award for costume design. So it started in 64, but in 64 and 67 they also had a black and white one separate from the color, which didn't make sense because, like, if you were praising black and white movies in 64 and 67, what about the ones in 65 and 66 where you just went with color? What the hell? Anyway, that rabbit hole is done. And now, speaking of the Deakins.
All right, for cinematography, we have Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, The Mauritanian, News of the World, and Nomadland. if we didn't already know what was going to win picture for the entire rest of the season, I would think Mank would be a player here.
I would say so.
But I don't foresee a world where Nomadland's not just going to finish this category out, as well as a couple of other or a few other categories for the rest of the season. And if it kept up its wins in the Big Eight and somehow missed cinematography, I would be shocked.
I'm saying
Ashley, what do you got?
Nomadland, but knowing BAFTA, they'll probably just go with the Mauritanian because it's like we have to acknowledge why it got so many nominations. It has to win something. Give it something.
I'd rather give this to
Oh
Judas and the
God,
Black Messiah,
I need to know. I now need to look and see whether
but
Mauritanian's British. Oh wait, it's produced by Cumberbatch. Okay, it counts.
but just, just the very camera shots that are done during the entire movie of all the various places that Fern ends up and all the various people that she meets, and just like one of the things that come to mind immediately is like when she's walking up and down the rocks, and I feel that that shot is just done oh so well. There's not many things. Spoiler alert! I will say good about Nomadland. I don't dislike it, but it's definitely my favorite right now. But one thing I will say is that cinematography just blows me out of the water, and I throws it up right here.
All right, settle this for me. Um, was I losing my mind in my memory, or are there not that many long takes in it?
Didn't feel like it.
So I don't think there are.
No,
So,
not at all. Everything is very nice too. It's my
all
19th
right,
year, but it's not that bad. And you know what I mean when I say that.
all right. Here's another one that I don't really know if there could be any strategy behind, though I will say I am really glad that I watched something recently. Um,
Yes.
casting, however you want to judge this.
To elaborate,
Um, because I don't think it's not like an ensemble award necessarily, but it's not too far away from it either. But we have Calm with Horses, Judas and Black Messiah, Minari, Promised Young Woman, and Rocks. The reason, what's funny, is I made this decision while I was watching Rocks, and then words come up on the screen at the end that made me say, "Oh, I guess
Well,
it's a
hang
good
on. What
thing I
was said at
thought
the
that."
end?
Something about because my thought watching it was I since they're like all kids, I imagine a lot of them were inexperienced.
mm,
So there had to be something behind that as far as the casting process went. And then words come up on the screen when it ends talking about how how the kids weren't really experienced, but they also there was enough improv that they basically all co-wrote the script more or less. So that whole inexperienced cast pretty much played a big part in the movie's entire existence as it is seen. So when your movie goes out of its way to call out, dude, this really great cast that we assembled ourselves put a lot into this movie. So it's almost like it spells out this whole category.
Never work with children or animals, so that's why
Ashley.
I'm going with the one and only Ivan. Sorry, rocks. Damn it. Wrong one. Not animals. Other one.
I just feel I'm just gonna go all in here because it makes it. That's the first thing to say to go with your gut instinct, and my gut instinct was to go all in on this show, and it's gonna either succeed or it's gonna fail. So I'm gonna go with it. Promising
Part of
Young
me
Woman.
is wondering whether Minari's in with a chance for
I
them
think
trying
that's
to
the only
make up
other
for
option other than
not
Rocks.
choosing Actually, was even Parasite eligible for casting last year? I can't remember whether it was. I don't think it was nominated because I would have picked it.
I can't answer any of these questions because until
Yeah.
I went over
Well,
these, I
remember,
forgot it was a
it
category.
only got introduced last year.
It's still, I was
It's
thinking
sort of
it
like the
was like
Rising
very
Star
recent, but I
Award.
couldn't
It's only
remember
been
quite
around
when.
for sort of like 10 years. I keep forgetting that they announced this like. I mean, previously it was a day before. This year it was like a week before. It was like what already?
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So foreign film, not in the English language, international, whatever the hell you want to call it. We have another round. Dear comrades, Les Miserables, Minari, Juana Zaida. We always have a thing in this category where there's always a front runner and an obvious one, and we always have the conversation of, but what if it's not that? And
Right.
this is interesting because it's the front runner is a movie that's like not in the Oscar race. So if you were to say the obvious answer is Minari, but a part of you kind of wants to say another round.
Yep.
And so it's like, well, how did they each do themselves? And it's like, well, nominations wise, they did
The question
relatively
is as well,
equally
how much momentum might Les Mis have
because neither one's
because of the release basically being afterwards? Has it got enough momentum so it competes with stuff that literally is out this year that then is in contention in other categories? Because I think the same happened last year with. Oh, I can't remember. It didn't stand a chance against Parasite, but I'm pretty sure there was another one which was like. It was in the Oscars the previous year, but not in the BAFTAs. Uh, I think Portrait of no, I think oh no, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. It never actually got put forward as France's nomination. I think that's the one that I'm getting confused with.
Pain and Glory.
No, I think I'm getting it confused with Portrait of a Lady on Fire. It's not the release eligibility. It was the fact that France never actually put it forward as their Oscar candidate. Therefore, it can't be considered. Even though nearly everybody said, "Go with Portrait of a Lady on Fire, then you'll get in," and then they didn't. So you know.
so I was since neither one's in picture, I was going to use director as my deciding factor here until I forgot that Lee Isaac Chung and Vinterberg are in director here as well as the Oscars. So none of that really helped. Uh, Minari has two acting nominations, while another round has one. All of this is stuff that's just kind of overthinking it. It could very well be another round, but I still feel like as long as it's here, it's safe to say Minari. But this is more open ended than it usually is, but it's still not usually that open ended anyway. So it's much more realistic that this could be another round than in the previous years we talked about, where if something was going to beat Roma or Parasite or whatever. Um, but I'm gonna go ahead and as if it's available, I'm gonna stick with Minari.
Hang on,
What do you got,
I need.
Ashley?
I'm going to possibly do what AJ should have done and see what Sight and Sound said for their top 50. Oh wait, they went. Okay, that's confusing because they went with Lovers Rock. That wasn't high up. I'm looking to see whether another round is higher up than. Wow, Dick Johnson is Dead is number 6. That might have momentum. Yay! Oh, there's Rocks. Wow, it's not as low down as I thought it is. Okay, screw it. I'm saying Minari as well because I think it's got enough momentum.
Minari.
Would have also kind of helped be an indicator if one of these got a screenplay nomination, and they both missed that too. Oh no, shit! Another round in original screenplay.
Damn
Well,
Oh fuck! Oh
it.
fuck! What have I done? Well then, no, I was probably gonna say Minari anyway, but now I'm panicking a little bit. But oh wow, I should have looked at that just a tiny, tiny bit closer. All right, where? Oh yeah, here's another one that's like totally up in the air. Documentary. We have Collective, David Attenborough, Life on Our Planet, The Dissident, My Octopus Teacher, The Social Dilemma. My Octopus Teacher continues to have a very strong showing through the season. um, and The Dissident is one that I should have gone for at, was it DGA? And then I fucked myself. Um, Despite the fact that all the signs are pointing at My Octopus Teacher just continuing to grow, um, I said Collective.
okay.
I
Ashley.
mean, I've been harping about it ever since the reviews. So yeah, I'm sticking with Collective. I think um, the other advantage that might have, although I don't know how this references to other stuff, is it's distributed at least in the UK by Dogwolf, which has the best animated logo for anybody that does documentaries. Because it's sort of it's a drawing of a dog that goes woof. Um, they actually, I didn't even know this. They even blooming distributed the Mole Agent, which I didn't actually manage to catch. Boy, that makes you pretty emotional. In like a good way. Collective probably in a bad way. When you see how corrupt Romanian healthcare is. I mean, I'm guessing what Owen's going to go for because it's not gone wrong for him yet when he's predicted it every other time.
Pretty much. I mean, I don't think I really need to say it at this point. I feel like it makes the most sense. My Octopus Teacher.
My issue is whether uh, the Brits are going to be too suckered in for the American style presentation of the Dissident. Because at some points, at least from what I've heard, Dissident feels very much like those like hours to kill documentaries that you just get like alongside reruns of Cops. It feels like that sort of like sensationalist documentary stuff that I don't think BAFTA should be somewhat supporting. Now just watch it be David Attenborough because it's the only one that's British.
All right.
Oh, the Soul. Sorry,
Animated?
Sal Award. Damn it! I broke the streak.
We've got Onward, Soul, and Wolfwalkers. Now, of course, there is an obvious frontrunner, but even when there's an obvious frontrunner, sometimes BAFTA likes to shake this one up a little bit. It's that's not enough to convince me to go against Soul, but it certainly made me think about Wolfwalkers for a second.
Last year they obviously went with Klaus, and then Kobo was 2017, right?
I think they went with
Um,
16, I think. But very
no,
close
Kobo
by,
was
which
2017
is
because 2016 was Inside Out.
makes me older. Yeah.
Because remember, BAFTA do it by the year that the ceremony happens, not by the previous
Or
year, because they're bastards.
yeah. Well, obviously,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking the year the movie was.
Jesus, the first year went to Happy Feet. Oof. In hindsight, when it could have been Cars or Flush. Okay, Cars maybe not. Flushed Away, probably. Um, Wait, so of course, the big thing last year was Missing Link didn't even make it. Okay, whatever. I mean, personally, I want it to be Wolf Walkers, but it's going to be Soul. That's the problem.
Me saying this is going to sound weird. You guys saying this sounds normal. But I'll say right now, if Shaun the Sheep would have been in this category, we might have had a
I
challenger
mean,
for Soul.
the fact that Klaus beat it
But I
last
don't
year
think we've got.
means BAFTA were drugged last year.
So you're also saying Soul.
Of course.
All right, does that bring us to the Big Eight?
Finally.
All right. So now that we're at the Big Eight at
In
BAFTA,
the
let's get
membrane.
insane. All right. So adapted screenplay. We have The Dig, The Father, The Mauritanian, Nomadland, and The White Tiger. Much like cinematography, if Nomadland wasn't our pretty much solidified picture winner at this point, I would almost say The Father would have this. Like, I'm a little surprised we live in a world where The Father doesn't have this. But to kind of go along with its ultimate victory that is incoming, Nomadland is going to take this, I imagine.
I'm going to use my two
Ashley?
favorite words whenever we get to this ceremony: British skew. And that's why I say The Father.
You know,
Nomadland.
I didn't really think about this like right until now. And the fact that both Nomadland and The Father were ineligible for WGA means that we have nothing that really tells us this for sure.
No.
Um, since Nomadland is destined for picture and director and cinematography, it could probably lose screenplay. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's semi-realistic,
I
isn't
mean,
it?
for BAFTA, yes.
And not to mention that, and the whole idea, even though neither one of these was going to win picture that year, we have seen with the up in the air Precious scenario that you can be the biggest front runner of all time in adapted screenplay and still lose at the last minute.
Yep.
It's very interesting that WGA is not telling us jack shit about this.
No.
So that's only just occurred to me. But yeah, Nomadland could only win 3 Oscars, but I doubt it. But
Then again,
but I guess we'll
didn't
see. That's
Spotlight
only
only
just
win
now
two?
occurring to me. Yep. It won the very first award of the night and the very last.
Hang on.
All right.
Owen didn't make his
Original.
pick. Oh, well, he did. I'm guessing
I did.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, begrudgingly. Dang Nomadland.
I know what I'm putting in that for Owen's category. My only question is, what's AJ's prediction?
Well, for original, we have, much to my recent surprise, Another Round, as well as Mank, Promising Young Woman, Rocks, and The Trial of Chicago 7. I still feel like it's down to like 2, unless they want to do. I could almost see them going another round, and I could almost see them going Rocks, but like we were saying, I don't know that they're as their own thing as they used to be as far as winners go. So it seems to be down to the 2, and once again, I always hesitate to say the thing that I want, but I mean, with the momentum that we've got right now, I think I'm going to say Promising Young Woman and hope I'm not jinxing it.
To be fair,
Please
she's
don't,
already.
AJ.
To be
Please.
fair, she's already jinxed it.
You know that's what
She's
happened.
done the Chloe Zhao. You know, she did a small film that garnered a lot of attention, and now she's doing a Marvel movie. Admittedly, only writing at the minute, but still, she's involved with a Marvel movie. So again, it's small film, Disney eats you.
Or she drops out because of creative differences, which is usually what
Dayball.
happens.
No, I'm going Promising Young Woman here. The streak continues. That's why I already ticked
Do I
it in the
even need to
box on the
say it?
spreadsheet. Would it help?
I did straight up beginning of this show without giving anything away. I'm going to go all in on Promising Young Woman. That should tell you something right then and there.
Wait, I realised I can't do that for that category. She isn't there.
Or Wild and so we'll see for me.
All right. It's Moon of Truth. We have reached the acting categories.
Oh boy, here we go.
So are any of us going to go as crazy as the nominees are, or are they going to play it safe? Oh, we're just starting right off with I'm really not sure.
Yep.
So in supporting actress, who wants to help me out?
We got Neve Algar for Calm with Horses, Kosser Ali for Rocks. Oh wait, I thought you. Oh, for County Lines.
And for County Line.
Along with. Yeah.
As well as Dominique Fishback, Maria Bakalova, and Yunya John for Minari. I wasn't saying the titles for the other one, apparently. So, once again, unless they're going to do something interesting like the nominees are, it's down to 2, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's basically kind of a whole. It's basically kind of a catch-all for all the acting categories. Is they're either gonna do something crazy, or it's down to the people that have Oscar nominations. I will just say right up front for brevity, I went pretty safe. So like all the people I considered are ones with Oscar nominations, but I am aware that that may not necessarily be the case. But since it feels like it's been a little while since they kind of went their own way, at least the big 6 categories. I played it safe and was deciding between Bakalova and Yoon, and here I said Bakalova, though I don't really have much confidence in this category at all. This is like one of the few categories that is a race. So,
Ashley, what do you got?
See, I don't feel confident with anything that's Oscar contenders here. So for that reason, I'm going to say Ashley Madekwe for County Lines. Not just because of the name, but I'm trying to go on like what got the most praise, at least in terms of supporting actress performance overall. And I think that did.
I have I have been saying since day one about this nomination for this category all across the boards, and I've stuck with the same prediction each time. To varying results, but I feel that this is when it's sewn up officially. I said this every season. I'll say it again. The British Oscars will reflect what the American Oscars are, and I'm going to go with Maria Bakalova for Borat.
Right. Supporting actor.
I know what I want to
Very.
do.
What was that?
I know what I want to do in this category, but I can't.
Well, we've got Alan Kim for Minari, Barry Hume for Calm with Horses, Clark Peters for The Five Bloods, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah, Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami, and Paul Raci for Sound of Metal. By the way, the whole Raci debate we never quite figured out. They did like a sort of virtual interview thing with these nominees, like a BAFTA thing.
Nice.
And it's like ever since nominations day, I've been hearing Raci an awful lot, and I'd been saying Racy. Now I was like, all right, this will conclude it for me. If I hear
It's
Racy
actually
one more
pronounced.
time, I'm just gonna
It's
start
actually
saying
pronounced
Racy.
Burn.
And then this woman said Racy.
It'd be like, why are you saying it's Rafe? It's Ralph.
Well, speaking of Racy, I talked before about how, like, as far as the Oscars go, since they were clearly passionate enough about Stanfield to put him in, what if he and Kaluuya kind of eat up each other's votes and that paved the way for another winner? And usually, if there's a streak that ends at the very last minute, it's because of BAFTA. The first one that always comes to mind is when Eddie Murphy's streak was killed by Alan Arkin.
And
Which,
to think about.
and here's the thing: is this is another case where we're looking at somebody that is sweeping, and then at BAFTA he's up against a veteran that he hasn't been up against yet.
Right.
It's looking really familiar. With that said, Kaluuya sweeping so
British
far, and Kaluuya's
you.
British, and Stanfield's not here to eat any of his votes, so I am going to say Kaluuya still. And I'm not. By the way, as far as Oscars goes, I'm not like. That's really just a theory. Like, I don't really think Kaluuya's gonna lose
No.
at all for the rest of the season, but it's something that keeps coming to mind because it is really interesting to me, and it's nice to see. From what I was talking about with Owen earlier, apparently I'm not alone in thinking that Stanfield might be superior to Kaluuya. So it'll be interesting to see who else thinks that when the Academy comes around. But as far as BAFTA goes, I'm still feeling pretty good about Kaluuya, as I'm sure most are.
I mean, you know,
Ashley, what do you got?
it helps that you're British and you're the likely winner, even though, you know, you are British. So, yeah, Kaluuya.
I'll just eliminate the controversy right off the way. I really wish Paul could win. I want Paul to win this greatly after seeing the movie. I took to Sound of Metal a lot more than I thought I. Well, actually, even more than I thought I would. And AJ knows I was really hyped up about it anyway. From the opening scene all the way to the end. But you can't doubt what Daniel Kaluuya has done so far, and there's really no reason to believe it's not going to continue. I mean, this is going to sew it up with a nice little but Kaluuya wins.
All right. The most interesting here
Comes the fun part because I know where I'm going to go with this. Let's see where we go.
All right. For actress, we have Alfred Woodard for Clemency, Buggy McCrory for Rocks, Frances McDormand for Nomadland, Rhoda Blank for 40-Year-Old Version, Vanessa Carey for Pieces of
In the
Woman,
circle
and
for his house.
so honestly, this is a case where I could see them going kind of off the path. But as we've been talking about, I mean, we've got a recent precedent with Michael Keaton and Birdman, but it's like it is so weird. Even with three, like I said, with what we've seen Mahershala Ali do recently and what we saw Walt do within just a few years, even though they're supporting performances, they were in the supporting category. Am I fucking
No.
frozen again?
No, you're here.
Oh, okay. I just watched it drop again. Um,
We're almost good.
it's interesting that Nomadland is at the place that it's at, and McDormand isn't like kind of a steamroll as well.
Exactly.
So we don't really know what's up between her versus Kirby when everybody else that's won up to this point is not here. So I mean, it seems obvious that this would be where McDormand would finally get it. Just really because there's not much of another, which makes, like I said, it almost makes me want to go in the direction of either it'll be Kirby or it'll be a crazy choice. But it's like, why not? Like, why is my whole thing to veer away from McDormand when Nomadland is steamrolling? It's the dumbest fucking thought you could have. Because I don't buy the whole thing that Three Billboards was too soon, because clearly that's not an issue.
Mm-mm.
So it's just like we were saying, where it's like they seem to be saying fuck you to a lot of the old trends, like with like Walt and Ali and stuff like that. Even though they weren't supporting, it seems like they've been saying fuck you to. It doesn't matter if you had a recent win or not. Just as when Coleman beat Close for the Oscar, it's like they're kind of saying fuck you to career wins lately too. So I don't. Long story short, I don't think Three Billboards is playing a part in whether or not McDormand is going to win or not. Um, I'm saying all that to say that I'm still going with McDormand here, but I just find it weird that my first instinct is to say it could be Kirby. It could definitely be Kirby, or it could be somebody random. But I mean, there's nothing that says McDormand wouldn't take this. Like, there's no reason to veer away from her. So when all of her when her competition's not here, so yeah.
No,
Absolutely.
I'm flipping it because I'm intrigued by your statement. Because I want to see where you fall on the Kirby McDormand thing. Because that's what it seemed to be that you were aiming at. Or referencing to. Okay, Owen's just okay. Okay, I'll ruin it. I'll say Bucky McCrory. Now you can talk, Owen.
I hate you.
Did I ruin your British skew?
Yes. You were really. I was really hoping you were like Vanessa Kirby, and I was like, okay, we'll split the votes. I was like, fine, it's gonna come down to me and say something really wacky. Nope. They like Rocks that much. I feel like they could go with it. And McDormand at this point has lost mostly everything. It makes sense for her to continue.
Well, I mean, let's be clear. Those things are simply the glow in Critics' Choice, but still.
And yeah.
She does not have a televised
Plus,
as of this moment.
my reasoning for Bakrai as well.
Here that she is.
Um, is okay. She might win an award for BAFTA Rising Star, but that's not the actors voting. And I think by this whole thing of you have to have watched the film, and because half the nominees are more than likely to be sort of from BAME ethnicities and everything, I think that's going to possibly be an influence in a lot of BAFTA stuff to come, to some extent. More so this year because of the first stuff. Especially also when it comes out via some scathing report that BAFTA's dealing with promoting new talent might be racist. But anyway, go ahead, Owen. Is what you
Did.
going McDormand? So which? You
No.
going with Bucky? Okay.
Yes.
For a minute, I thought you were just gonna you were gonna change it on the fly and say, won me for his house. The best thing that can happen here is Alfred Woodard wins for Clemency, and it's like, it's the film that came out last year again. Damn it, we got swerved.
Because this tells us absolutely nothing about the Oscar race at this point.
To some extent, though, isn't that what we want?
All right.
Are the BAFTAs making it unpredictable at the best time, like right before it becomes predictable? That might be the best thing to come out of.
Not when you have a proper horse in the race like AJ and I do.
Here's the thing also. So I was saying we've only had Globe and Critics' Choice to really go off when we talk about this, but it's like, because we haven't had an industry award for acting yet.
Nope.
Which would be SAG and BAFTA. And the thing about that is, where the fuck was I taking this? I had a whole sentence. I had a whole fucking sentence. The fact that we were saying, okay, well, before PGA and WGA, we were like, oh, well, it's, the industry awards haven't happened yet. The industry awards is where we start seeing curveballs. The industry awards is where they really start changing the game. And then Nomadland won PGA, and we were like, the industry awards are not going to change the game, apparently. And it's like, will the fact that PGA is continuing a steamroll, will the rest of the industry awards be as, I don't know if I can say boring, but as solidifying where we already think we are, more or less.
Has won an award because she did win Best Drama Actress at the Satellites, with Bakalova taking Comedy Musical. That's what you get, Rosamund Pike, for burying your awards in the garden.
The Satellites are also the one. The Satellites are also the ones that got busted for nominating The Wolf of Wall Street before they saw it. I don't know if they've had like a revamp or anything since then.
All
but
I've heard about the BAFTAs this past week, the revamp might not.
There's really no reason. Do we really have a reason to talk about this next category? Just win it right now.
I gotta be. I mean, I know I'm like somebody that's actively trying to get into the industry. An award. It's kind of the dream that you have. Like, that would be like kind of the finish line in a way, apart from like finishing a passion project or something.
Right.
So like, this would be something that's easy for me to say sitting here as nothing. But if you were, say, Anthony Hopkins and you won over Chadwick Boseman, I don't know that I could accept it. Like, I don't know that I could have that BAFTA in my house. No. Like, I don't know that I don't think anybody would want it that's in this category with him.
Right.
But those people happen to be this in the White Tiger.
Yeah, Adarsh Gurav for White Tiger.
As well as Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey, Mads Mikkelsen for Another Round, Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal, and Tahar Rahim for The Mauritanian. First off, we got another Paul Raci situation on our hands, and you'd think I'd have figured this out by now, given how big this person is. But I was under the impression for a very long time that the D in Mads Mikkelsen was silent. And I'm pretty sure I heard him say his own name recently, and he called himself Mads. So what's his fucking name? And with how long he's been around, this would be something I would know, but I don't know what his fucking name is apparently. I could have sworn the D was silent. Oh, you mean like that absolute dumb fuck from back in the day that left that comment on my In Bruges video that said, "Why are you saying Ray? His name is Rafe." When I was saying fucking Rafe, I just apparently wasn't saying the F sound too clearly.
You were the F clear enough. It was just after the fact.
And by the fucking way, anyway, I think his friends do just call him Ray. I'm pretty positive. I've heard Liam Neeson just call him Ray, but whoever that guy was, he's a YouTube commenter. He can go fuck himself. But I'm sorry, everybody else that's here. You're cool.
I just want people to get confused and call him Ranulph Fiennes. It's like, no, that's your. I don't want to say what it is because I don't know how Ranulph and Rafe are related. I think they are because of the name.
All right, long story short, who's got the balls to not say Chadwick Boseman? Go. Anybody?
Hang on, Owen, are you shaking your head?
Nope.
Oh, why I didn't fucking write these.
What are you saying, Owen? Oh, okay.
No, I'm not gonna not go with Boseman. Are you kidding me?
Well,
that's what I.
Here's the thing.
All right, you know how I just said. I just said who has the balls to go against this person. Let's just do that for the next two categories.
Hang on. You didn't.
Who has the balls to not say Chloe Zhao? Who has the balls to
to
not say Nomadland?
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the IMDb page for Ragnarok. I should have been looking at the Black Panther one instead. Wrong one. So, best director.
All right, god damn, they're relentless. I swear, normally I try to learn as many name pronunciations as I can, especially if it's somebody that's likely going to break out and you have to know. Like the fact that you think I'd know fucking Mads Mikkelsen by this point. But we have Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. This, I'm sure,
Jasmine
wonderful
Malice
person
Zabanik.
for Quilvana Saida. As well as Lee Isaac Chung for Minari, Sarah Gavron for Rocks, Shannon Murphy for Baby Teeth, and Thomas Vinterberg for Another Round. Is anybody going to say anybody other than Chloe Zhao?
I want to. I'm not going.
I'll say Nomadland. No, it's like I am really on the fence as whether this could be the Rocks win as well. Or even something like Baby Teeth. Because there's got to be a reason it's in there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's its only nomination, isn't it? They went the fucking Lynch route.
No, what? Screw it. Go down with the ship. I might as well. Let's go with Sarah Gavron for Rocks.
You absolute psychopath. I'm gonna. Oh.
That's only because I know what's coming next.
And of course.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, Chris.
All right. For picture, we have The Father of the Mauritanian Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. Go ahead. Say something that's not Nomadland. I know you want to
The
so
thing is, I
badly.
don't know whether Owen will. That's the thing.
All right. The thing is, what I want to do and what I wish I could do versus what I'm going to do are
Oh,
two
no.
completely different things. Now, when I said I was going all in on Promising Young Woman, I wasn't lying. But after the other day, I can even fully solidify this fact. It is 100% a people pleaser. I still don't understand exactly why. Maybe I guess it's just like they feel wholesome watching it. I don't know. Whatever. Thing is, I want to go Promising Young Woman here, and it's going to win a Best Picture at the BAFTAs. Just not this one. Nomadland.
People aren't going to vote for it for Best British Film when it's not even British. I thought that was going to be an open goal for you. This is the only chance I think that Nomadland might not get Best Picture out of anything.
I was 100% behind saying Promising Young Woman here. But
Well, here's the thing: is you could bring up that BAFTA's had quite a losing streak lately. If you talk about what wins here versus what wins at the Oscars, but at the same time, we are seeing a sweep from Nomadland that I don't think we've seen since Argo.
right.
So, and I think even Argo took
Mm-hmm.
this, if I remember correctly.
Yes. I mean, they went with 1917 last year, which of course obviously wanted them to go with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I remember
No,
we said that
let's
during
be
the
fair.
actual
No,
predictions.
I was like, it should have been Parasite. I think. I can't be bothered to bring up the spreadsheet for last year.
Again, I mean, I know Nomadland's picture. I've come to terms with it. I don't hate the movie. It's just I said this to you, AJ, and I think I can say this on camera now. I think it's probably one of the most underwhelming Best Picture wins we've had in a long time. I don't dislike it. I just feel that there's so many better movies than it that I have seen this weekend as well.
Do you realize how many people are going to want to crucify you when you tell them you think Green Book is better than Nomadland?
I like Green Book. I don't care. Don't forget. Don't forget. I've got the biggest slap in the face when it comes to Hollywood Best Picture winners anyway. So I already carry that cross up and down the street if necessary.
Like Will Patton.
With my George Harvey glasses. Looking like a picture of Roy Scheider and Jeremy
I'm
Piven.
still thinking back to that moment when I was in the cinema 6 months ago for Ammonite, and the people at the back were like, "What was that all about?" And then the fact that it didn't show up in the nominations must have been that that person voted for BAFTA.
You know, Brian brings up a point. The last time that they matched the BAFTAs and the Oscars, 12 Years a Slave. Well, technically there was another one too, Brian, but we're not talking about that right now. We're taking it home.
They seem to have. We were kind of talking about this with Vice, even though Vice didn't get like a big win or anything. But how we talk about the British skew, but they seem to have a weird fixation on American history.
Yeah, but 12
Which is
Years a
interesting.
Slave is a British film. it's Steve McQueen.
You know, I'm gonna lose this show
Uh,
anyway.
if anybody's gonna lose it, either.
I went with it for best British film, and watch that be the one that
Yeah,
loses,
that's what I'm.
and the one that it
That's what I'm
wins, it's
honestly
picture,
wondering.
because that, yeah, sure, why not?
Wait, what? Yes,
Promising Young Woman,
I got the sway the
best
vote
film.
because I want to give Owen a point.
No, you didn't sway anything. That was my original thought process, and I
Good.
pretty much got talked out of it during the conversation. But now I understand with the thought process that the Oscars rarely match up with the BAFTAs.
I mean, at the same time,
Why
bad
not?
because I don't want. I want the swerve. You know, Par- Parasite last year showed us that the American Academy knows thought-provoking, interesting films, trying to make up for whatever happened with Green Book the year before. If they go with Nomadland, it's like kicking into an open goal when the entire football team is out injured and you're kicking from the other goal line. If it goes in, it's not that impressive. I'd like to
Nope.
see just something different. Judas
But
and
here's
Butter.
here's the surprise too.
Mm.
Actually, Trial of the Chicago 7 comes to mind. But
Considering
yeah,
everything that's going,
I'm gonna stick with
considering
it
that
and
everything's going
see
here in
how
terms
bad.
of how they're dealing with protests that are happening in the UK at the minute and the ongoing issue with the coup that's happening in Myanmar. I know it's not exactly the same, but it's like the trial of Chicago 7 looks at the issue of arguably police brutality more than it does the race issue or the politics issue or anything. So, you know,
Without question.
BAFTA could choose that. That's the thing. I still don't know why the Mauritanian is here.
I
Hey,
think we
once I
never
see it,
will.
I'll be able to tell you. Come on, Thursday. Oh, wait, Thursday's April Fool's Day. Is this a joke?
So, Ashley, did you ever say something exactly for
As
picture?
much as I hate. Well, because I'm going with Rocks for director, that's why I'm going Nomadland for picture. Again, I'm trying to sort of. It's the same with the British, you know, British first time and British overall normally do not match. I don't think they ever have. I'd have to double check on that. So again, I'm trying to go with the fact that I'm pretty sure director um, director hasn't matched, has it, for quite a while? Oh wait, it sort of has, except for Shape of Water and oh no, Gravity won that year. Come to think of it, mm, I'm still going with it.
I think that's the show then. So if you were wondering about AJ content, it's coming. It's just kind of got a little bit of a detour, but it's coming back. More movie reviews, more verses coming in the very near future.
including that Snyder Cut video I've been trying to do all week.
Once I get a video up, hopefully before the night, I have 2 new snack stashes from Ashley coming up this week as well. And of course, more Voice of Liberty, as always.
Now that you bring it up, can I air out a frustration real quick before we're
You know
dead?
what really grinds my gears?
Yeah, this whole thing about how I'm gonna do one that's the Snyder Cut, and I'm gonna do one that's like Raya and the Last Dragon and fucking Coming to America and the SpongeBob thing and the Tom and Jerry thing. Then I got to do one on the Father, which I may or may not throw Minari on also. And it's like with all this stuff coming straight to streaming, there's been such an uptick of YouTube recommending me those fucking reaction videos. And I guess those reaction channels are just watching fucking movies now because of this, because they're instantly available like that. And a lot of people, because the Snyder Cut is in 6 parts plus an epilogue, so they're all dragging it out by doing one video for one part. And it's what a reaction video does. It's just them watching the fucking movie. And it's like doing all this and doing it like trying to think of what I'm going to say before I say it is like, I know there's people who are like, oh, but the editing, like, I know we're just sitting there watching something, but the editing is so hard. But it's like, apparently it's a lot easier than thinking about what you're going to say before you say it. So the fact that it's like, and not only getting bombarded with those goddamn things on the front page of YouTube, but also the fact that because shit is coming out so quickly, everybody wants to do their little fucking Easter egg videos with like spoilery thumbnails, and they're making their fucking O faces in the goddamn thumbnail, and it's getting really annoying and really, really fucking low effort. And I know it could also be seen as low effort that we don't do any editing, like none of us. But like I said, just the fact that you have to think about what you're going to say before you say it, and pray to God you don't say anything wrong. Like that's kind of the main. That's kind of the main. Yes, that shit. Yes. And the fact that I'm like really trying to take my and this is the fact that it's like it's not it doesn't bother me that I think about it this much and like 2 people are gonna see it. It's the fact that I just kind of want to do it right when I talk about it. And it's like there's so much behind stuff like the Snyder Cut. I don't just want to say shit. And it's and just like have knee-jerk reactions one way or the other, which for something like that both happen. Everything's either the best thing ever or the worst thing ever. You scream for a couple of minutes and it's
imagine.
over.
I can't
that's
imagine
part of
what
what's
these YouTube generation would do with the original Russian War and Peace from like the 60s, which is 8 hours long, which you had to see in 2 4-hour chunks 1 week after the other because that's the only time they could fit it in with the schedules. How would you do that? This is my review in 36 parts.
Or even let's do it, or even Decalogue. Decalogue's fucking 10 hours. Like, or Show. I think Show is like 8 or something. But yeah. So that's just been annoying to see that shit constantly, and it's like, dude, the fucking second episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier just came out like yesterday, and I'm already seeing like 20 thumbnails of, oh, I can't believe this thing happened, and it's fucking thumbnails of Wyatt Russell and shit, and it's like, it's like I don't really like YouTube ever since things have been going straight to streaming. So if I had to make one argument for why theaters need to come back as soon as possible, it would be because YouTube's a fucking shit show. But yeah, that's basically all I was taking that. That's the only direction I was really going. So yeah. And I know a lot of people like those things, and I know you kind of like it's nice to have like some person there virtually where it's like you're watching the really good scenes with and seeing how another person reacts to it and all that. But it's like it's gotten so excessive since all movies have been going to streaming. So that's, I think, kind of
I'm
unfortunate, but
conflicted
maybe
because
that's
I'm
just me.
wondering
I don't
whether
know.
for April Fools, considering what film is also coming out that day, you do a sort of worst versus and do King Kong 1976 versus Godzilla 1998.
Oh my god.
Considering that's also coming out this week as well. Apparently, they keep telling me, even though I don't have Sky Cinema. Thanks.
I really wish I had. I mean, technically, I have a theater that I could, but it's like I kind of want to get stabbed first. So, yeah. Oh wait, this is YouTube. I mean by a needle, not by a knife. Please, please hold back.
So, Ashley, what do we
I think
got
the
for next
plan will
week?
be be doing a show Sunday, whether it's immediately after or 30 minutes, because I don't even know when it's being broadcast, what time. But after the SAGs, we'll wrap up that along with the PGA and the WGAs.
So, we will not be doing a show next Saturday. We'll be doing the
Yeah,
show on
and
Sunday
then the
instead.
aim will be BAFTA and DGAs the following Sunday, and then maybe Saturday and Sunday the following week to do Spirits, and then Oscars literally the week before.
Could work. That's going to be your show. Ashley can be found on at Ash is my name UK on Twitter. AJ cannot be found on any sort of social media, and also, just like Keith Richards, cannot be killed by conventional weapons. Hence what we mentioned a few minutes ago. Basically, you can leave a comment, and AJ will get to it in about a year. The thing is, if you're lucky, the thing is, I also can be found on Twitter at Sir Owen Disney. That's going to be your show today. Thanks everyone for watching this evening. And as always, in a world where there are a billion awards prediction podcasts, which there seems to be nowadays, any J Brown can predict something. Thank you for choosing to check out a podcast tonight. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. Later this month, stream Numb on Spotify as well as Snow Globe, and check out waterparks.views.com for the live stream of the anti-tour running for the next 2 weeks. $20, definitely worth watching. That being said, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we're going to say about that.
And my retort to all of that is don't eat bread. And we're done.